Hey, hello, and welcome to another lawn mowing live stream. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm at the old Heritage House. I'm going to be mowing this one with the Navigator. You flip the camera around. So yeah, I'm going to be filming, cutting this one with the Navigator. Put you guys on the holster. And this one here. Actually, let me take my glasses off for the time being. But yeah, we're going to do this one with the Navigator. With this particular property, I tend to get on the Navigator first right away, mow it, and then go back and do the trimming. So there's a handful of properties where I do that. Most times I am doing the trimming first, and then mowing after. But this is one of the exceptions where I prefer just mowing first, trimming after. There's like lots of little rocks and things and around the border. Like you can see there, all those stones and stuff. So it just makes it easier to do that first. Turo says, let's get it. Hey, Turo, welcome to the live stream. So I'm going to get this one kind of taken care of. I'm still trying to figure out the most efficient way to mow this one because it's an odd shaped property, sort of like the lawn goes all the way around the house. So, and there's some soft areas around the front there where those rocks are. There's no poor drainage, so he's spent a lot on landscaping, so he's watering quite a bit, but then it all ends up on the lawn there, and then is causing some issues with the machine when I'm going there and turning around and stuff. It's starting to get, it's like soft areas. So last week, what I tried was I started mowing. I don't know if you can kind of see the stripes curving. So I started mowing around the edge there and going all the way around the house to the other side, and then trying to do my stripes basically in like big U shapes. And that seemed to work out a lot better because it's less turning at the end of these small little like runs. Mowing at 2.5 inches. I apologize, this is going to be kind of noisy because this machine is so loud. Once the blower and stuff is on, it's pretty crazy. But we'll see what we can do. I'm going to put the headphones on. And normally I would put the phone on a tripod, but because it's like a U-shaped lawn, then I'll be out of kind of view for a while. So see how it goes with the POV style. Here we go with the Navigator. And the blower, full throttle. So I'm just going to go over the perimeter first. Sorry, there was that incoming call that kind of disrupted the stream there. I didn't answer the call, but disconnected the stream. spider web here. Trying to avoid this is like a little rough area here. Avoid it as much as I can. This little herb deal is all gravel underneath. So the log is not growing on here. This is a future shed site. And they just threw their little sod, leftover sod that they had. This is right here. First off, one side, just drains, so runs there. So here, this corner here is a top area as well. Same issue that I have over there. Sometimes I have over here with the way the water drains off those roads. So once I get that perimeter going, and I see I kind of go take it slow, tear up the soft areas. I can start trying to the areas here they try to avoid long term design. Franklin Mixes, let's go! It's pretty damp over there. trying to avoid turning. Areas as much as I can. Just trying to avoid any damage to the turf. A bit of a berm there that I trimmed. That spot. Grab the trimmer. Yeah, you can kind of see there. It's around here. The rest of that I'll trim. I don't want to scalp it. So just go back around this way. Kind of see what the stripes kind of look like here. Things I'd like to do. Yeah. House here. Let me just get a photo here. Or a still image, I suppose you could say. That I can use for a thumbnail type image. So a really cool story and history around this house. Grab the garbage bin. I have one more area to mow, but it's up top. There at the top of that berm area. I used 21 for that. Alright, load this back up. And then I'll grab the trimmer, trim, and then go to the top and mow the top part with the smaller 21. Alright, it's a little bit quieter now. Like that, so I said start trimming now, and then go and mow the top area that you can see up there with the 21. Gonna trim it too. That little top area is got quite a bit of trimming. Sometimes takes me almost just as long to trim and mow that little tiny top area than it does to mow the whole bottom. With just the amount of trimming and stuff, there's plants and lights and all sorts of stuff up there. So not bad. The look looks pretty good. Let's put this away now. Yeah, so this House is pretty cool. It's got some cool history to it. This property was bought and owned by one of the very first pioneer families in my area. And they were the family. They did a lot of the building up of the initial community that I live in. And in fact, they are the family responsible for naming the area Cloverdale, which is kind of cool because my company is called Cloverdale Mowing now. So kind of neat to be servicing the property where the name for the whole area that I live in was thought up of here on this property. So this property was bought originally in 1890, and this house was built in 1904, so it's about 115 years old, the house itself. So pretty cool. It's an old craftsman style house, I think they call it, the architectural style. Now you see that my truck is parked where it was there at the back of the house. Originally, the entrance to this property would have been the front here, but you can kind of see through the trees that there's a ton of traffic, a lot of noise. So originally, I guess this would have been like a dirt road with horse and buggy and that sort of thing. It's now essentially a highway. So the entrance now is at the back. And the rest of the property, which would have been originally the land, the farm for this family, has been subdivided years ago and turned into a subdivision named after the family's last name. Current owners bought the house a few years ago, and apparently this whole yard was all blackberry bushes and brambles and stuff like that. So they've spent the last few years clearing it all up. They brought in some soil and have been essentially landscaping it. The focus on the other side there and a bit of the back side over here. Like I said here, this little area here is kind of this high spot is all gravels, like that limestone stuff. They built up to put a shed at some point to keep it a high spot. So that's why they said that they had like leftover turf, and rather than, I don't know, even though he could return turf, they just put all the leftover rolls of sod here. And it was fine through the spring, but as soon as the summer hit, just being on top of just gravel, there's no real dirt there, like you can see right there. It's just like sandy limestones, gravel. It died as soon as the warm weather hit. It's the drainage is too good over there. It does not retaining any moisture. Yeah, so I'm always kind of fascinated by this house just because it's so old and just I like the heritage aspect of the community I live in. It's often used in film and movies. A lot of the buildings and homes and stuff in my area because they all have that old look to them. Some of these older nice houses, right? And like you look at this house, like there's so much character there, right, for a movie or a TV show or something. Um, a lot of the parts of town, you could, even though I'm in, even though I live in Canada, here West Coast, this a lot of the areas nearby, small town part, things like that, could all be substituted for any like small town USA. Same look and feel. In fact, so many different movies and TV shows have been filmed here. One of the most popular back in the 90s um, that was filmed here in Cloverdale, in downtown Cloverdale, and that'll kind of give you an idea, is Smallville. You guys remember that show? Tom Welling and John Schneider, kind of the teenage Superman series type thing. So it kind of gives you an idea. But yeah, so here is the top area. So much trimming up here. Plants and things. And of course, I can't take the navigator up here, so we're just using the Milwaukee. When I first started mowing this property, this area, I started mowing this property in the spring, and it was still kind of said, I'm still kind of figuring out some spots and areas. This area here, I didn't even start mowing in the beginning. It wasn't part of the original quote, but we added it after. So we're kind of trying to figure out how this area would be serviced. So then we figured how we would get up here. So basically what we did was we left kind of like a ramp area for me to access it from the area that I walked up, just a dirt like berm or whatever. Smooth spot. It allows me to fit the mower up there, the 21. And that's what we kind of decided on. These low-hanging branches are a bit of a pain here. They're about to be more of a pain in the coming months as we enter rain season. And they're going to be soaking wet, dripping all over me. Right. The stripes look up from up here. More defined. Yeah, so I like that better, the way I was doing it there. And they're doing those big U-shaped stripes. Because it minimizes the amount of turns I have to do in these tighter areas, which subsequently have the poorest drainage. So it wasn't tearing up the lawn when I was doing it the other way, like just going back and forth stripes. In this section is what I was doing originally. So basically, I was just dividing the lawn into sections. So this section was one section, then across the back was another section, and then the other side was another section. So I was just doing straight stripes. But then obviously you got to turn at the front and end of each of those. So it's causing a lot of turns in this area and over there where drainage is an issue. So I wasn't tearing the lawn, but it was just didn't look as good. All the tire kind of indentations, not ruts, but just they weren't. It wasn't wet enough to rut, but it was just leaving little indentations. So this turned out a lot better. Doing it in the U shape. I started this last week, doing it in this direction. And so you end up with that kind of look. All right, let's grab the Milwaukee. Still rocking the Milwaukee mower. Here it's been, I don't know exactly how long I've been using it. I would guess 3 months or so far. Every day. It's been responsible for at least 80% of my income over the last 3 months. Using it as my main mower. Of course, the larger properties are not as, I don't do as many of them, so it's mostly push mow stuff. So you can see I've like worn off the paint there for my hands, being on it a little bit over there, but mostly on that side. Haven't had any issues so far with this mower. It's been really nice. I have noticed a bit of a difference now with, so here's the kind of ramp path area that he kind of left for me to be able to take the mower up. I have noticed a little bit of a change with September and more morning dew, and that is the mower. Now with lawns getting a little bit longer, growing, quite a bit more of it being wet in the morning, is requiring, especially in the morning, for the mower to be on the high speed mode. Otherwise it starts to kind of clog up pretty fast with the blades that are on it. Unfortunately, Milwaukee doesn't have like true high lift blades. I've talked about this a lot with the other blades that they do sell as high lift blades, but they're like a high performance mulching blade. But they call them the high lift blade. But I mean like a true bagging, high performance bagging blade. They don't have one available. So that might be an issue once we get into, especially rainy season and grass is wet, long. Might be an issue with this mower. We'll see in the coming month or so, especially as the leaves start falling. free to pick up. Let's see if the blade has enough lift. So that's the only thing I'm not sure of. This mower, kind of waiting to do a little bit of those fall cleanups before I can do like a honest review of this mower. But other than that, I love this mower. It's been one of my favorites so far. Comfort-wise, probably the best I've used. The ergonomics of the handle and everything are my favorite. That with how lightweight it is, make it so nice to use when you're using it all day long. That could be like what my old age starting to show. You're doing all mostly push mows. The weight makes a difference. Never used to for me. Never used to bother me. But just in the last 5 years or so, I think I've really appreciated lighter mowers. So that's why I say it might be my old age. I just turned 50 this year, so could be it. Perceptions change, I guess, over time. All right, it's done. That's kind of how I handle this top side. This mower is nice as well because you can use the self-propel without the blades spinning, so that helps, especially coming up this pathway and up this kind of slope here. This one will be another interesting section here because you can kind of see the grade there. It's pretty steep. Over here it's a little bit obviously less, but once rain season hits and this is all wet and thing, it might be a different story. Let's go empty this bag here. Alright. Put that one away, grab the blower and wrap it up. You see a little bit of the berm there. The owner of this house is not a landscaper. He works from home, but he's very resourceful. He's done most of this landscaping himself or helped with it. Pretty impressive. So like these stones here and stuff, stone staircase on either end, another one on here. He did that all himself. He found stones that were, I think they were rough on both sides or something. I can't remember exactly, but he had to slice them. So he did that all himself, cutting the stones to size and everything, which is a pretty big task for stones that thick, like solid granite. Right? He laid those all himself, and all of the plantings here, all these plants along here, he did this all himself, all the way around, all the trees and everything. He did the initial cleanup of taking all the blackberry bushes and everything. Apparently this was all blackberry bushes, like there was no grass or nothing. It was just all crazy. So it took him 2 years to do all this. So now that they have got the outside, like look at it, it's beautiful. And now that they got the outside all sort of settled on, they're going to turn their attention to the inside and start to renovate the house itself. So for a house that's 115 years old, it's in pretty darn good shape, I would say. It's been well looked after. Super cool. And that's it. We are done. This one here looks pretty darn cool. Alright, that is it. Sorry I didn't use the tripod today, but just kind of the way that lawn is laid out doesn't lend itself for doing the filming, of course, with tripod, because if I set the tripod over here, then I'm going around the other side of the house and back and forth and back and forth. So it doesn't quite work. I know the POV style isn't the greatest, but especially for the motion part of it. Ooh. Yeah, so that is it, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the stream. Special thanks to Turo for engaging in the chat, as well as Franklin Mint, as always. Appreciate Franklin coming to the stream on a constant basis and checking out. And for everybody else that's checked in and checked out the stream, appreciate that as well. We'll see tomorrow. Trying to think. Some of the things I'm learning here with streaming is, as I've talked about before, certain areas. There's so many variables, whether there's people around or not around. Of course, you don't want to be live streaming if the homeowner's out in the yard working or doing stuff like that. You don't want to be streaming if there's another company working or something like that. So, there's always variables. Cell service can change depending on the weather. Um, Time of day can make a difference. So there's lots of different variables on whether I can stream or not. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Because of that, it's always going to be impromptu when I jump on a live stream and show you what I'm doing and what I'm working on, or have you guys kind of ride along. So I appreciate you guys checking out this heritage house that we just mowed. Let me know what you think in the comments about it. Did I mow it the right way? Is there a better way to lay those stripes in a situation like that? Let me know what you think. And yeah, so that's it for this one, guys. Appreciate you guys checking it out, and we'll possibly see if I can get another live stream for tomorrow. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks again.